your new memoir, I Hope You Fail, is based on the idea that failing isn't like the enemy of ownership or its opposite, but a key part of it. Why?
You know, it's interesting when we think about failure, for me anyway, I've been through a lot. My father served 22 years in prison. I grew up in a single parent household. Car got repoed, lost my business, almost lost my mind, had enough bad relationships that I can't even count, right? But I needed all those things to happen for me so that I can realize what was on the other side. And what was on the other side was building a multi-million-dollar business, creating Slutty Vegan when I had no idea what I was doing as an entrepreneur, becoming a wife and becoming a mother when a doctor told me that I couldn't even have kids. So when we think about failure, it really is just re-engineering a negative mindset. And that's why I wrote the book. I wanted people to know that, okay, it's inevitable. Life is going to happen, but it's what you do with what happens in life is what makes the difference. And I know that it's going to bless a lot of people.
When Americans walk into a McDonald's, when Americans walk into a Shake Shack, I mean, they know what they're going to expect.
Exactly.
That the corporation is banking on that kind of consistency. What should Americans expect, like from the vibe, from the food, maybe from the wait, when they walk into one of your places?
You're going to be called a slut. You're going to be met with agape energy. You are going to hear music booming through the speakers. You're going to have employees dancing with you. And then I have full promises, right? We're going to give you great energy, customer service, our form of training, and cleanliness. That is my promise and my guarantee to the people who walk through the door. And it's not about the food. It's about the experience.
I like this idea that the food is like kind of is almost off to the side. It's almost an extra. But let's talk about it though, because selling food is like, it's a complicated thing.
Very hard.
Is there something about food that you want to get better at? It's really about food and about eating?
No, but what I have learned is funny. I just recently talked to the executive chef at Shake Shack, right? Because Danny Meyer's team, they're my investors. One part, half of my investors, and the other is New Voices. So I called him and I just wanted some advice on like LTOs, right? And that's limited time offerings. So when you go to a restaurant and like, how for 6 weeks they have like a certain burger, I'm like, I need to be able to make the relationship spicy. So I've been working on new menu items, new ways to excite the customer all over again, especially during the economy when restaurants are at an all-time low. But it's been a journey, but it's been a beautiful one nonetheless.
You no longer own the business outright. You've got these two big investors. Danny Meyer's one of the big restaurateurs in the country, and but he started Shake Shack. What have you learned about sharing something that you own? You're no longer the sole stakeholder.
Nobody ever asked me that, but can I be totally transparent? I cried. When it first happened, I cried. And where the camera at? My investors, y'all watch this. I love y'all, but I cried, right? But I'm going to tell you why I cried. Because I have never had anything that belonged to me that amassed this level of success. So when it amassed a certain level of success and I did it on my own, I'm like, it's me, it's mine. I'm not sharing like blood, sweat, and tears. I bust my ass to get here. So then when I'm like, okay, all right, we're going to take investment, but that means that you got to give up some equity. I'm like, well, what's that? You got to give up a percentage of your business. What do you mean I got to give up a percentage of my business? And they ain't got to come in here and work physically? No, it was hard for me because my ego was in the way, right? But that's that trauma, that growing up trauma that tells you that like, if you have something like you don't share it, you keep it to yourself. But you go farther together. You want to go far? You got to go with a team. And I knew that in order to get where I wanted to be in my life, I needed to get me a team. And I'm glad that I chose the people to do business with because they got my back. And I got the 2 Michael Jordans on my team. So as long as I got them, I'm a win.
If there's anything that could possibly be more intense and important for an owner than her relationship with her partners, it's her relationship with her employees. We are having like a real moment in this country with labor in general, as our magazine has documented in the automotive industry, Hollywood. You've had to navigate lawsuits brought by employees. What have you learned about being an owner that you didn't know when you started?
That when I show up in the news, they don't just say Slutty Vegan. They say Pinky Cole is getting sued. Can I tell you a funny story? So I got a 9-pager in the New Yorker one day. The next day, Jet magazine. I'm on the cover. They hadn't printed in 8 years, so we're in Target. Like, I'm all over the internet. It's just beautiful. And then the next day, I'm on the New York Post getting sued for unpaid wages. And how I found out is I was watching Golden Globes, and then after the Golden Globes, like, I'm plastered all over the TV. And I'm like, that happened? What's going on? Like, I'm trying to find out the information just like they're finding out the information, right? So that was my first experience of feeling defeated in my business, because there were a lot of things that I didn't know, obviously, because I don't run the day-to-day of the business anymore. I'm still the CEO, but I have a president and I have a really solid core team. So when that happened, it threw me for a loop. And to be honest, I got a little bit defeated. I'm like, this is not what I created my business for. I only operate in best practices. Like, I only operate with the highest level of integrity. Anybody that knows me, I don't play with people's money. I don't play, I don't play with people's opportunities. So like when that happened, it really hurt me and I took it personal. And my lawyers was like, don't respond, don't say nothing. I'm like, F that. So I get on internet and I'm like, I write this whole personal statement, didn't share it with anybody, because at the end of the day, I realized that my name is more important to me than anything else.
All right, let's talk about the Pinky Cole brand. So you're on the side. I mean, you're a brand strategist in addition to everything you do. But Pinky, I mean, you're also a brand. What do you want your empire to look like in 10 years from now?
Slutty Vegan is a lifestyle brand, right? Depending on the day, Slutty Vegan is a marketing company that has restaurants as the storefronts. And when we talk about lifestyle brands, Pepsi is a lifestyle brand. Coca-Cola is a lifestyle brand. Slutty Vegan is a lifestyle brand. I want people to be able to consume the brand not just by way of food, which is why I did a shoe collab and a lipstick collab. I'm working on colognes, reality shows, producing movies. Because when you see this octopus, right, the head is Slutty Vegan. The tentacles are all the things that are connected to this head. This is the bread and butter. So it doesn't stop at restaurants. Restaurants was just a gateway to get in the door. But I'm going to world dominate with the brand in so many ways and show people that you do not have to be a one-trick pony. You can have a multifaceted brand that is sustainable, that will last throughout the years.
I think I'm going to take the people that I've worked on the show to Slutty Vegan for, I think, our wrap party when the season is over.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is there like a sleeper hit on the menu? Is there something that like we should absolutely definitely get?
The chicken head. And the chicken head is a chicken sandwich with coleslaw, and like a red spicy sauce. It's so good. But beyond the food, I really want you to get the experience of a lifetime. All of this will not make sense until you walk into the doors of my church. It is really the premier restaurant chain that has the potential to change lives beyond just food.
Even without going there, it's just a good time being in a room with you and being able to talk to you. And I appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you.
I really enjoyed it.
Appreciate you.
Really enjoyed it. Pinky Cole, thank you so much. Watch the Businessweek show Thursday nights, 10:30 Eastern on Bloomberg Television or 8:30 on Bloomberg.com or the Bloomberg app on connected TVs.